welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melissa and I'm a homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. And I'm an allergy mom and chronic illness mom. My youngest son has some pretty major health issues and allergies, and so a lot of what you see on my channel has to do with homeschooling and mom life and allergy life and chronic illness life. So if you like that kind of thing, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and stick around. So today I thought that in the midst of all the craziness going on in the world, that I would share a little bit of my opinion, and maybe I could say knowledge. I'm not going to go as far as saying expertise, but I'm going to share with you guys my top 4 tips for transitioning your children from traditional schooling to this schooling at home, which for most of you, it's not quite the same as homeschooling, but transitioning your kids who have been used to a traditional school setting, classroom setting, transitioning them to schooling at home, whatever that might look like for you. So if you are feeling like you're kind of on the struggle bus and you're looking for some tips, stick around, and I hope that these will help you. First of all, a little bit of a background on me. If you've watched some of my videos before, you might know some of this, and then some of it probably I haven't shared on any of my videos on my channel yet, so some of it may be new, but just to give you a little bit of a background on me and my children and why I feel like I'm somewhat qualified to share some tips with you is because I have multiple education degrees, including a master's degree in education. I also have other degrees. I'm sort of what you would call a professional student. I love school. If college were free, I would probably have 10 more degrees just because I love to learn, and I don't know, I guess I'm one of those weird people. I like school. I love it. But anyway, so I taught for 17 years in a traditional school setting. I taught for 11 years in the public school system in the county where I live. And I taught a little bit of everything. I taught general ed, elementary ed. I taught 2nd grade, and I taught 4th grade when I was a general ed teacher. I got my master's degree in educational media. So I was actually a library media specialist at several schools during that time. So I have really taught from the media specialist capacity. I've taught grades K all the way through 12 as a media specialist. And then I also taught music and theater in public school. And then when I left public school, I went and taught 6 more years at a private school. And there I taught 3rd through 8th grade music and theater. So I have a total of 17 years of teaching experience in the classroom. And during that time, my own children were in traditional school as well. And so that is what they're used to. I'll give you a little bit of background. So I have a really wide age gap between my children. So my oldest 2 are in 7th grade. They started school. They went to a 2-day, I can't remember if it was 2-day or 3-day program. That seems like an eternity ago, in K3 and K4. And then they did your traditional school route from kindergarten all the way through 6th grade last year. They were at the private school with me. I was their music and theater teacher. And so they had always been schooled in the traditional classroom setting. My youngest is 5. He just misses the birthday cutoff. So my mom kept him when he was a baby because daycare was just not a safe place for him with all of his allergies and health issues. And I got brave enough 2 years ago, I guess, to send him to K3, full-time K3. And it went well. He liked it. He enjoyed it. And then the following year, for reasons that we don't need to get into in this video, we switched him to another school, and he repeated K3 there because they had a different birthday cutoff, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so this year he's technically supposed to be in K4, but he just, I don't know if it was all that time he spent one-on-one with my mom when she used to keep him because she read with him a lot, and of course I do too at home. He is way ahead. So we're doing mostly kindergarten curriculum this year, homeschooling, and some 1st-grade stuff because he's reading on a 1st-grade level. So I don't want to bore him, but he's technically supposed to be in K4. He misses the birthday cutoff here where we live, the birthday cutoff by 16 days. So anyway, so he did K3, I guess, 2 years of K3 in a more traditional classroom setting, and then now he's home this year with me. So that being said, I know a little bit about transitioning kids who are used to, okay, I just totally lost my train of thought. I just had to walk out of here after filming that first part of this video because my kids are washing the car and y'all, they're wetter than the car is. Anyway, they had a snafu and I had to go deal with that. Sorry, I'm hearing noises that I'm not sure. I'm trying to identify them. Y'all. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about Ford in school. Anyway, the point is, my own children this year my own children this year have already had a huge transition from traditional schooling to now homeschooling this year. And I am a firm believer that God did this for us. I don't believe in coincidences. We had been mulling over the homeschooling idea. Actually, if I'm being honest, for probably about 3 years. And there were a lot of reasons we didn't, and then a lot of reasons that we finally did. One of the main reasons we didn't do it right away and we took so many years thinking about it is because I loved my job. I loved my job. I still miss it very, very much. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that was what God had for our family. And now that all this COVID craziness has happened, I'm even more grateful for his timing because unlike all of you who are public schoolers or private schoolers, traditional schoolers, who have just had this sudden overnight massive like knee-jerk, totally unsuspecting transition to homeschooling or schooling at home, we were able to transition slowly. So although this has definitely affected our schooling, I mean, don't get me wrong, homeschoolers, I tell people, and I mean it, we are busier. We have been up until now. We had been busier this year as homeschoolers than we had ever been in the past. We do a lot of extracurricular activities. We have co-op that we're very involved in. And so, of course, all those things have been canceled too. So don't think that homeschoolers just sit at home only with their families all day, every day, because that is not true at all. So we are definitely going through a transition during this stay-at-home quarantine time, whatever you want to call it. We're definitely going through a major transition too with you guys. But thankfully, with the bulk of our actual schoolwork, nothing has really changed for us. Now, obviously, co-op classes have, because we can't go to co-op. So some of our academic things have changed, but for the most part, the bulk of our academic work and the bulk of what we do for our core subjects has not really changed much at all. So I'm really grateful that God saw this coming, even though we didn't. And like I said, I don't believe in coincidences, and I know that this was part of the reason that God placed it on our hearts to pull them out of school and for me to quit my job when I did. I mean, the very year, y'all, that this happened, the very same, the one and the same, our first year as homeschoolers. And so I'm very grateful for that, because we were able to ease into schooling at home and prepare ourselves for it, versus a lot of you guys who were thrown into it, never wanting to do it, never thinking you might do it. So I know that I mean, I can't even imagine how scary and overwhelming and awful that was, and still probably is, as you're trying to figure it out and get used to it. But anyway, so here, so now that you know, I have an education background, and I also have a fairly recent experience with transitioning kids who are used to traditional schooling into schooling at home. That's why I feel like I have a little insight that I can share with you that I hope will be helpful to you. Keep in mind, I do not claim to be an expert. I'm definitely not an expert homeschooler. Like I said, this is our first year. We haven't even made it through a whole year yet, although we love it and we're doing great. But I do not call myself an expert by any means, but I do feel like I have some good insight that hopefully will be beneficial for you. So let's get going. There's just 4 of them. There could be a million probably, but I narrowed it down to the things that I feel are the most helpful and the most important. At least they have been for us. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Top 4. Okay, the first thing to get out of your head is that schooling at home, whether you're doing traditional homeschool, whether you're virtually schooling, or whether you're a public or private school student who is now still attending your school but attending it virtually, that is not the same as going to school. It is not the same. It is not intended to be the same. It can't be the same. It's impossible for it to be the same. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get out of your head that school has to be an 8-hour day or a 7-hour day. Get all preconceived notions of what school is, get them out of your head. Out of your head, gone, bye-bye. A traditional school day includes so much more than school. There are locker breaks, there are bathroom breaks, there is recess, there is lunch, there is PE, there are specials, which I'm a specials teacher, so specials have my heart. Art, music, library, media, computer classes, socialization time. Look, we give our kids breaks in traditional school where they can sit and chat with each other. It is not schooling for 7 hours a day. That is not at all how school works. So the first thing you have to let go of are those preconceived notions that have been basically like brainwashed into all of us, me included, about what school is supposed to look like, that it's supposed to be this whole day long, um, super structured, um, school, work. That is not what school is, even at school, even at traditional school. And it's definitely not what it's going to be when you're schooling from home, no matter which method of schooling from home you're doing. It is not going to look nothing like traditional school. So take all those ideas of what school is that are in your brain and empty them. Okay? That's not what it's going to be like. It's impossible for it to be like that. So, gone they go. Okay, set up a schedule. At the very least, a routine. Now, this is going to look a little bit different for everybody because personalities are different, needs are different, responsibilities are different. So, I know there's been a lot of schedules, like quarantine schedules floating around the internet, and they all look really great in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people making fun of them. Um, and but guys, the thing is, research shows that humans are creatures of habit. We thrive on routine. Now, you may think, no, I don't. I don't have a routine. Yes, you do. You have a routine. You probably do it subconsciously. You don't even realize you're doing it, but you have a routine. I guarantee you. Now, it might not look exactly the same every day because life is life and things happen at the last second that you can't predict, and that you can't control. But for the most part, you have a routine. Now, some people, based on personality, have a much more scheduled routine than others. You know, some people it's like, oh, my alarm goes off at 9 o'clock and I do this. And then my alarm goes off again at 10 o'clock and now this happens. And some people are by the book, by the clock schedulers. And if that's you, that's great. That might be what you need for schooling at home. But for others, like for us, we're kind of middle of the road. So I am pretty organized. My children will tell you I'm OCD. I am about some things and then I'm not about others. So I guess I'm selectively OCD. So we don't have a schedule as much as we have a routine. And some days the routine goes all the way out the window just because things happen that we can't control. And when that happens, you have to give yourself grace and understand that this is life and some things you just can't control. But for the most part, our day looks pretty much the same. You know, we get up pretty much at the same time every day. We start breakfast pretty much at the same time every day, give or take maybe half an hour. We start school every day, most days at the same time, give or take about half an hour. And what works for us is a checklist for school. And so some of the things that we do for school, we do all together, all three of the kids and me together. And then some things they do independently, and then some things the big kids do with me, and some things Ford does with me. So we have like a different routine for all of those things. And normally those go in the same order, but not always. Like usually we do our group stuff first, and then we split off and do our independent stuff. This morning, I got a late start this morning because I had an unexpected phone call that I had to take. And so normally I get a walk-in really early, pretty early for me. We don't get up super early around here. We usually start school by 8:30, 9 the latest. And so usually prior to that, while the kids are getting up and eating their breakfast and all that is typically when I take a walk. And then when we get back, we can start our group school stuff. Well, this morning, I had this phone call. So while they're eating breakfast and doing all their normal things, I was on the phone call. And so by the time I got off of my phone call, that would have been the time when we would have normally started school. but I had not done my walk yet. And I knew if I didn't do it, that it wouldn't get done because our afternoons get crazy. And so I told them to go ahead and do their independent work. And I went ahead and went on my walk while they were doing that. And then when I got back, I checked their independent work, and then we did our group stuff. So like I said, sometimes things happen and you change it up a little bit. But I guess the best way I can describe it is, for us, we kind of have blocks. Like, this is our breakfast and get ready block, and this is our independent work block, and this is our group work block, and this is our chores block, and this is our, whatever. And so we have these blocks essentially. And so we don't always do the blocks in the same order, but we make sure that we get all the blocks done in a day, if that makes sense. And the way I lesson plan kind of is similar. I don't have a schedule in my lesson plan book. I have our blocks, and I literally have check boxes, and I plan out on Sundays what we're going to get done that week. And as we go, we check it. So some days, I might check it all right in order, and some days I might check the top of the list and then the bottom of the list and then the ones in the middle, but they all get checked. And then if for some reason something doesn't get checked, we just move it to the next day. It's not the end of the world. That's another great thing about homeschooling. But anyway, I highly, highly recommend that you come up with a schedule or routine and write it down and stick with it. Again, it can be a routine, and it can be loose, and it can be blocks that you can move around so that they're not necessarily getting done at the same time, but they're getting done. Or you might be a really scheduled person, and it might be better for you to literally schedule by the clock, and when the alarm goes off at each one of those times, then you stop what you're doing and you move to the next thing. That works really well for some people. It doesn't work for us, but I know that it works really well for some people. So that might work for you. But I highly, highly, highly recommend that you have, at the very least, a routine that you stick to every single day. It will make your life easier, I promise. Plan, 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 plan. Seriously. Sorry, I kicked the camera. Seriously, y'all, plan everything. Plan everything. Everything. Don't plan too far ahead, because things happen and things change, and you might not get everything done that you intend to, and so you have to move some of those things that you plan to do to the next plan. For us, we plan by the week. I plan everything by the week. I meal plan weekly. I school plan weekly. I to-do list plan weekly. I set aside on Sundays, every Sunday without fail. I set a time aside on Sundays. And I do my lesson planning for the week. So I get all of our homeschool stuff out, see what we finished or didn't finish the week before. And then I plan from there what I think we need to get done for the next week. I type it all out, I print it out, it goes in my plan book. And then I do the same thing with my just life planner. I have a bullet journal that I journal in, that I plan in. I'm a planner-aholic. And so I've tried just about every kind of variety of planner, paper planner, electronic planner, whole 9 yards. And a bullet journal is what I settled on this year. And I'm actually really liking it a lot. But anyway, I plan by the week in that too. So I have on each week spread, I have on the left side, I have basically a calendar: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I can put appointments, grocery pickups, lessons, meetings, anything that we have to be somewhere for, which right now isn't very much, but I put it on the left side. And then the right side is a running list of tasks. And I say running list because I add all through the week, and I check it every single day, usually multiple times a day. And I check off things as I'm getting them done, and as I think of something else that needs to get done that week, I can add it. And that works really well for me. I am pretty forgetful, and if I don't write it down in my planner on my running task list, it will not get done. So I know that I have to plan for everything. I also meal plan. Typically, I meal plan on either Thursday or Friday, and then I get a grocery order for pickup Friday or Saturday, depending. So like if I meal plan on Thursday night, I'll order my groceries and pick them up on Friday. That's what I like to do because I like to not have to worry about groceries on the weekend when my husband's home. But there are a lot of weeks where I don't get around to it until Friday, and so I meal plan on Friday, order my groceries for Saturday pickup. But I plan everything: breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything. Now, breakfast and lunch plans are a little more loose. Usually I have just like a few options. Like you can have, waffles and some fruit for breakfast, or you can have, my older, I just totally drew a blank. My older kids, bagels. That's what I was trying to say. My older kids like bagels, so you can have bagels and some fruit. Some mornings I'll do bacon, but usually breakfast is a couple of choices. Lunch is usually the same. Like you can have a ham sandwich, you can have a hot dog, you can have whatever, a salad. And then lunch is a definitive. We're having this on Monday night, and this on Tuesday night, and this on Wednesday night. And so I plan. One of the things I think we'll hear homeschoolers say a lot, and I've heard this from some of my friends who are traditional schoolers who now are schooling from home, is like, oh my gosh, how do you keep your kids from eating all day long? And it is true. Homeschoolers tend to eat more because your kitchen is in your school, right there. So I've seen an idea where each kid has a basket, and mom puts all their snacks for that day in their basket, which I think this is a brilliant idea. We don't do this, but I'm thinking about trying it. But mom, you can put all their snacks for the day in their basket, and then they can have total control over what they eat when. But once all those snacks are gone, guess what? Kitchen's closed, and you can only eat at mealtime. For us, snacks are ask and you shall receive, but the kitchen closes 2 hours before dinner, and the kitchen closes 2 hours essentially. I'm usually a little more lenient about lunch, an hour before lunch. So you can have a snack, but you have to ask for it and be given permission. Otherwise, you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's it. And I'm not a short order cook. I do not cook what people request. Nope. I said, this is your options. What do you want? And they get to pick from a list of options. They don't get just like unlimited, whatever they want. And that works pretty well for us. Initially, when we first started homeschooling, I think they asked for a lot more snacks than they do now, but now they've realized that they're not going to get it. So it's not that we never have snacks. We do. We usually eat fruit or applesauce pouches and veggies, carrot sticks, cucumbers, things like that. We do eat for snack, but like I said, they know at a certain time in the afternoon before dinner. Don't even ask, because mom's going to say no, because we're not going to ruin our dinner with snacks. But anyway, just a plan for everything. A plan for school, a plan for meals, a plan for, I don't know, even, a plan for outside time, a plan for time away from each other. Like, maybe twice a week, everybody needs to go their own room in the afternoon for an hour because you're driving each other crazy being all on top of each other. That doesn't really happen to us. Thankfully, some days it does, but not that often. But just plan for things, and you can be flexible with your plan. Your plan can change as you start to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But my advice is plan as much as you possibly can ahead of time. It will make your life so much easier. Okay, number 4, use all of your resources. Y'all, the wonderful thing about this technology age, which in a lot of ways I hate this technology age, but one of the really great things about it is there are so many resources available to you everywhere. First of all, if you are a traditional schooler, since we're not this year and I'm not teaching or having a student in traditional school, I'm not 100% sure what that looks like for you guys, but I think you're being provided with activities and assignments and things for your children to do for school from your school district, or if it's a private school, your private school, or whatever school you're a part of. So use it. Communicate with your teachers. Y'all, I was a teacher and I know what teachers' hearts are, and they are to help you. So reach out to your teachers. Ask them for additional resources. Like if you're just really struggling, teaching the math, ask your teacher what he or she recommends. Is there something else we can add, we can do online? Are there printables that you can give us extra ones? Things like that. They want to help you. They do, I promise. So use your resources like that. Also, there's a million things online, a million and one. So much. A lot of it's free, a lot of it's not free, but very affordable. Khan Academy is a great one. For littles, Reading Eggs is a great one. Reading Eggs isn't free, but it's not expensive. In my opinion, it's very affordable. Another site that I loved as a teacher, as a classroom teacher, and I have found I still use it as a homeschooler, a home educator, is Teachers Pay Teachers. Again, not free, although some of this stuff is free, but it's all usually very affordable, and it's a great resource. And then just Google, I promise y'all, there is a ton out there. And then, of course, your homeschoolers that you know. Do you know any homeschoolers? You know me. Or maybe you don't know me, but you're watching my channel. Y'all, leave a comment below. Ask a question. I would love to help you if I can. If I can't help you, I'll try to find someone who can. I am still a teacher by nature and in my heart. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I always will be. And right now, mainly I educate my own children, but part of the reason I started this YouTube channel is because I still have a heart to help and educate and make life easier if I can for other people. So reach out to me if you need to, or if you know other homeschoolers, reach out to them. I promise I know a lot of them and they all want to help you. They're happy to help you. Homeschooling mamas are. I promise they are. So just start reaching out to people. Google, Khan Academy, Teachers Pay Teachers, Reading Eggs. There are just so many resources out there, guys, that it's virtually unlimited, the amount of things that you can find out there to help you. So reach out for help if you need it. Okay, well, I hope that those tips helped you. Like I said before, that I could go to probably a million. There are so many tips and tricks and hacks and all kinds of great advice. You can probably find other great advice that I didn't mention here on YouTube and other places. If there's anything specific that you'd like to ask me or know about or see, let me know down in the comments below. I'm happy to help any way I can. And hang in there. I know this is hard. It's hard for all of us. It's such an adjustment. And for me, I'm a control freak. The hardest part about this is not knowing when it's going to be over. Like I feel like I could handle it better if I just knew when the end was. But anyway, alas, we have no control over that right now. So I know it's a hard time. I hope you guys are at least able to slow down a little bit right now. I think that is a great benefit to the difficult times that we're in right now, is that we have all been forced to slow down a little bit, spend more time with our families probably than we ever have. And in my opinion, spending more time with your family is never, ever a bad thing. So don't forget, in the midst of trying to get all your schooling done and your routine and your schedule and your planning and all of those things that I suggested, don't forget to stop too and take a breath and just spend some time together, enjoy each other's company, play board games, go outside and take a walk, go on a nature scavenger hunt in your neighborhood, um, go, I don't know, go for a drive. You're allowed to go for a drive. Go for a scavenger hunt in your car. Make up a list of things. Go look for them in your car. Play the alphabet game. There are so many things that you can do that are educational and that are great for your kids and that are fun. And I promise you, your kids are going to remember this for the rest of their lives. This is a memory maker, y'all. So make it a good one. I'll see y'all next time.